All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and infinite glory unto my Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rahakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who taught us this truth. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect, those making their body a living sacrifice, especially the more so in these last days, okay? And this message that you hear, the preaching of the name Yahweh, Why Yahweh Shai, okay, which is the name of the Heavenly Father and his Son, which the language that you heard me say it within is the ancient language of Hebrew. We will be given those names to proceed our exodus out of this captivity. And when I talk about us, all right, that mere mention of the gathering is speaking to you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, okay, and those that may not look like the following nations, but their spirit is in tune with this message and they can get down to the song, if you will, of what's been going out through the four corners of the earth, which is this message, okay? This message of peace, of release, of a return of our heritage back unto us. All right. And as this lesson is entitled, Let My People Go, which is an excerpt taken from Exodus, the 5th chapter, which we'll go ahead and read as I'll share my screen. This is Exodus 5:1. It says, And afterward Moses and Aaron went in and told Pharaoh, Thus saith the Lord, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, power of Israel, let my people go. Right? And this right here was a decree or a demand from Moses to Pharaoh, the prince of Egypt at the time, or the king of Egypt at the time, to release the captives that were at hand, the Israelites that were under subjection. And of course, as Pharaoh's heart was hardened, you started to see the Lord bring plagues, and ultimately the threat was then put into action, okay, of not letting the people go. You've seen the consequence that there took place afterward, right? And within this journey of us being within captivity in the Americas, okay, and the nations seeing the humbling of our people from the transatlantic slave trade all the way up until this time, how our people are in the streets mourning with no direction, no way to go, going around aimlessly, still subject to these ideologies, Christianity, democracy, black culture. Well, this message on this side has been a decree for our people to be released. This message is one that has been pushed from, uh, those that are in prison houses and cells, as we are in this day still in our captivity, as the scriptures say, right? Let's get this. This is Isaiah chapter 42, verse 22. It says, But this is a people robbed and spoiled, and they, all of them, snared in holes, right? Yeah, we have been robbed and spoiled. We have been taken advantage of. We have been stripped of our identity, but the Lord has given his men, right? His men and the prophets power to make that decree, that demand unto the king of Babylon in these times, which is to let the people go. Okay. To let the people go. And it's being heard. Okay. And the reason why things are moving is merely because this is from on high. This is what Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah has predestinated to happen from the beginning and for it to show up in the end. Okay. So when we consider the time period of Exodus, the reason why things started to move shortly after um, Moses made the decree to let his people go is because uh, the Lord, the Lord likes um, to use instances and situations to show his power. Now, this is Exodus chapter 7, verse 7. And it says, "And Moses was 80 years old, and Aaron 83 years old, when they spake unto Pharaoh." Right. And I believe that's 80. What was it? 80 um, and 83. Let's that's the yeah, Moses was 80, and Aaron was 83. All right, when they made this demand, this decree unto Pharaoh. And I wanted to get this to set a baseline of, the timeline of the first Exodus. Okay. Um, but first, yeah, here we go. Yeah, 18 and 26. Here you go. Y'all bear with me. This is this Psalms. Why am I in Psalms? I don't know why this ain't got the GNT. Let's go here. We gonna have to jake it. Y'all bear with me. Sirach 18. Yeah, here we go. Sirach 18 and 26. It says, "Can change in a single day. The Lord can act very quickly." Right, and you've seen this in this situation of our Exodus. Okay, and the reason I got this verse here in Exodus 7 and 7 is, right, Moses was 80 years old at the time of the decree of demanding Pharaoh to let his people go. And we see when we go to Deuteronomy 34 and 7. Okay, it says, "And Moses," right, and this is the end of Moses' campaign, right? Because after the book of Deuteronomy, what you have the book of Joshua, okay, which he continued the campaign of Moses, after the wilderness. Okay. But this is Deuteronomy 34:7. It says, and Moses was 120 years old when he died. His eye was not dim, nor his natural force abated. Right. Showing you the beginning of Moses's decree from Pharaoh and the journey up into the promise, up and pretty much on the border of the promised land, okay, of Israel getting into the promised land. But what you see here, right, we go to Deuteronomy 29:5, okay, and it reads this, Deuteronomy 29:5, and I have led you 40 years in the wilderness, okay. And so when you consider that Israel was within the wilderness for 40 years in the age of Moses when he started his campaign, all right, 40 plus 80 is 120, but they spent 40 years in the wilderness. So the time in between when the Lord had revealed himself unto Moses and told him to make that decree, from the time of the decree that was made unto Pharaoh, 1 year was all it took for things to change. Okay, for Israel to be moved and those plagues to hit Egypt. Okay, that is a example of what we're reading here in Sirach, the 18th chapter and the 26th verse. It says, things can change in a single day. The Lord can act very quickly. If you are wise, you will be careful in everything you do, right? Because one day Moses rose up and that decree went forth, and afterward the plagues started to touch Egypt. And within a year, the Israelites were out of Egypt, right? And so we can see this same thing taking place now as things have been moving because the men of the Lord have stood upon their feet and these nations are scared. All right. This is Revelation 11 and 11. It says, and after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from Yahweh entered into them, right? And that spirit of life, which is this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, has quickened us, brought our nation back to life. Okay, the nation of Yasharallah, the nation of Israel, and given us a movement to galvanize ourselves and to stand up and to face the East, man. And that's putting a lot of nations in fear of this message, okay? This message is a moving force, all right? And it's a miracle, right? Something outer worldly, all right? But we'll read on. It says, and after 3 days and a half, right, which we just broke down, it says the spirit of life from the Most High entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them, right? And where is that great fear coming from? That's coming from these other nations because they're seeing our strength and they know of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai's record and how he's infinity and O. All right. No losses is what the Most High take. Our power, the one that we serve, the one that made the heavens and the earth and that decree the things from the beginning. He decreed the end from the beginning, right? That's the one that we serve, and that's why our people are scared. So when you jump into this next chapter, okay, of Revelation 12 and 12, right? That sets the that sets the understanding for now, okay, and how Esau is getting ready to move, right? How this message is tearing his ass up, and how, once that decree was made, he knew that he had a short time before the plagues were to hit, and the Lord was soon to act because of the things that were written aforetime. Okay. Esau and his philosophers, his archaeologists, his scientists have studied the ancient scrolls and dug up artifacts showing that these things have happened in the timeline of when things happen upon the earth. So he knows that these scriptures are real. But when you compound that over the fact that now prophecy is happening and there's nothing that he can do about it, well, he's forced to react to what the children of Israel are doing, which is him coming down with great wrath, as we're about to read. But Revelation 12:12 says, "Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants," which means destruction. "Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time," right? And that short time, like I gave an example in the beginning of this lesson, that short time, we've seen that play out over the last Exodus, and how that timeline of when the decree was made and the plagues, plural, hit Egypt, and the fall of Egypt, and how they were overthrown in that miracle of us going over, um, Moses splitting the sea, how that miracle of us being translated, you know, from through the waters had taken place. And we know that that's going to happen again. So, yeah, I just wanted to touch on that. Lord will, I was able to edify. I want to give all praise, honor, and infinite glory unto my Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Hakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who taught us his truth, peace, and salutations to the hopeful elect. Shalom.